Hey everybody, welcome back to this tutorial. This is part 2 of our Razor scooter modeling tutorial series. I don't know how many parts there's going to be, and I don't know where we are going to get to today before I have to go to work. So we're just going to kind of go and see where things lead us. As you can see here, the scene is still set up. Before my recording got messed up yesterday, as you can see, I duplicated this over, but then my recording got messed up, and so anyway, and the other thing that I did is I selected all of these objects, and then I shift right click and went down to combine, and I compounded. I don't think compounded is a word. I combined all of those together, and so now let's go ahead. We've kind of made this piece right here. It's not super accurate, but it will do for our purposes. So the next thing that we're going to do is, I think let's you know what we're going to do? We're going to make all of this piece right here. We're going to start down here and then just move up. Okay, so the first thing that we do is we hit shift right click and go to cube. Let's spacebar into our 3 view mode and spacebar here. I'm going to get rid of some of this here. We can always pull that back. Hit W for your move tool, and then let's see here. Ooh, I'm going to turn on this right here, which is wireframe mode, so I can see, even though these aren't selected, I can see everything about them, and then I can hit V, and I can center that right there. Now, one thing to note is that this is not straight up and down. It's at an angle. It's probably a 10 degree from the vertical here. It's a 10 degree angle that way. Yeah, something like that. But in order to model it, I'm going to have a better chance of modeling it if I model it straight up and down, and then I just rotate it, and I rotate it from this point. So I'm going to model this entire thing top to bottom, and then I'm just going to rotate it over so that it fits into our thing here. Okay, so let's head back into the side view, and let's go ahead and hit R. We'll just scale this down so that it kind of fits around our bolt. Pardon me there, I had an itch. And then we'll pull it up here, and then right click and drag, and go to face, and just select all those faces, and then control deselect, so you're just left with the top face. And let's pull this up till about there. I want to go back and see how this goes. So it goes straight up, and then one thing that we do know, we can add in an edge loop. So let's right click and drag, object mode, shift right click, go to insert edge loop. Let's reset that tool. Let's add an edge loop right about here, and then we'll grab the face, hit W for a move, and we'll move that back out. Something along that. Alright. One other thing, this is too thin, so hit R and we'll move it out like that. Okay. Now that we have that part, let's go ahead and cut a hole for the wheel. So let's right click and go to object mode, shift right click and drag, insert edge loop again, and let's make one edge loop, cut it down the middle. Now let's reset that tool, and we'll pull this out so that it's just on the outside of everything. Now if we go to face mode, we can select all those and delete them. And select this and delete that. Okay. And then let's right click and go to edge mode. And let's just hit W to move, and let's move these edges up. And then we can grab these two edges here and shift right click and go to bridge. And then I'm going to add in edge loops. I'm going to add in 3 so that I can then grab these and pull them up. Make sure that there's enough space, otherwise the wheel would get caught up. You know, it's details like this that, depending on the kind of model and size of model that you're making and who you're giving it to and things like that, really make a difference, or don't. You know, if you, let's say you're doing this for a video game and no one's ever going to look that closely at this model, now I'm just going to fill this space, fill a hole, and I'm going to use my multicut. Anyway, you know, these kinds of models can have varying levels of detail. We're going for low to mid poly, which is not a super high resolution model. You know, like I'm even debating cutting a hole. I could cut a hole, cut a hole through the back here and stuff like that, but honestly, for what we're going to do, for the renders that we're looking at making, it's not going to do a whole lot of help in the end. Now let's go edit, delete by type history, modify, freeze transformations, Control D, and then scale it in the -1. And combine those, and then right click and merge vertices. Alright. One thing I'm noticing is this is more like a square on top. So I just want to grab these faces and pull them forward just a smidgen. Okay. Now let's shift A and go to cylinder, polycylinder, and we'll bring the subdivisions down to 16. Again, we're not going for super high resolution. And I'm going to bring this up here, but then I'm going to hit D and V, and I'm going to move my pivot down to the bottom. And then I'm going to bring this down, and that way when I scale it, it scales from the bottom, and I can be more accurate in the sizing. Okay, so I'm just going to worry about the basic shape. So basic shapes right now, I'm going to go face and just grab these top faces. Good thing. And I'm going to pull it up to about there. How am I? Let's go to the side view. Oh, here's actually one thing I can do. I can right click and go to object mode, and then I can hit E, and I can, as long as I'm in object mode and I rotate this back, I can rotate this back up straight when I'm done. So now I can hit Q and go to face, grab these faces, hit W, and hold down W and go to Object, and then I can pull it all the way up. So now we know. And now, what's really simple is I can just start adding in edge loops. So I'm gonna grab our image plane, and I'm gonna grab our bar there, and I'm gonna solo them, and then grab my image plane, shift right click, and go to insert edge loop, and just reset that tool. Okay. So now I'm gonna start here at the bottom, and it looks like right here it kind of bulges out. Right here kind of bulges out. Maybe right here it does. We go up. It kind of bulges out there. Okay. So that's that. So now what I can do that I put in those edge loops is if I go to face mode and I select, I'm just going to shift select. I don't know why my mouse is having an issue with the scroll wheel today. It's all jittery and whatnot. Alright. Now I can hit Control E and I can just pull it out along the normal, and it extrudes it out. So now I'm going to grab this one, Control E, and extrude it out. Control E and extrude. Now I know that this top one there's a clasp, and we will get to that. Control E and extrude. And then last but not least, I want to select everything here at the top, hit W, and then W and left mouse button click, axis normal. Oh, I'm sorry, and then Control right click and go to vertices, two vertices. And I want to grab it here on the yellow one, the N one, and I just want to pull that in. And then W right click, go to Object, and I'm going to Control, just drag this right here, and then I can snap these back up. Oh, again, we're having an issue there. So right click and Object, Edit, Delete by Type History, Modify, Freeze Transformations, right click, go to Vertex. Those vertices will still be, ooh, I just made a mistake. Okay, before I freeze those transformations, I'm going to rotate this to 0. Good thing we caught that. Otherwise, that would have been a bummer. And now I can right click and go to Vertex, V, and modify freeze transformations. Why is it doing it? Modify freeze transformations. I have no clue why it does that. Anywho, okay. So now we have that. I'm gonna just delete these bottom faces down here. Select it all. Touch down at the top. Select it all, then Control deselect. And there you go. I think that this piece needs to be a little bit larger. And I think this piece needs to be a little bit larger. Alright, now I want to do something here. When I smooth this out, I want these to be really sharp edges, but I don't want to add a lot of I don't know, I guess extra geometry. So I'm just going to select all, holding down shift, I'm going to select all of the main bar, none of the extrusions. I'm going to select all those, and then I'm going to go shift, right click, and go to extract faces. Okay, so now we have these faces and we have all of these, and just for good measure I'm going to grab all these and just combine them back up. Okay, next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go shift right click and go to Polycube, go into our side view here, and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to put this cube, and what we're going to do is make this little piece right here. I'm going to turn off solo mode, and actually I'm going to go into the front view and hit 4 for wireframe. And now I'm going to go to vertex, and I'm going to grab these vertices, and holding down V, I'm going to snap them to the outermost piece right there. Okay. So now, and then I'm going to grab all 4 of these vertices, and I'm going to hold down V and snap them here. So now if I look in my perspective view, they are perfectly flush with what's going on right there. Now if I grab these, I can pull that down, and this needs to be pulled out 4. Remember, this is going to be rotated. Here, let's just do this. I'm going to grab this and grab this and go shift right click, combine, and then where's my then I'm gonna get the move tool. Okay, so see the move tool's up there, D, V, middle mouse button wiggle, and then E, and I'm gonna put this back. Yeah, I'm going to say negative 15 degrees. Okay. Now when I grab this stuff, it's going to be a whole lot easier for me to place it correctly. And what I'm really looking for is I'm trying to line up this and the piece right here, and trying to just kind of make sure it all lines up. And I just switch back and forth between my world and my object. Okay. Now once that's done, I can just hit 0. One other thing that I forgot to do is I'm going to double click and double click on all of these edges. Actually just these. Right click, go to Bevel, and then add 3 segments. Okay, now you can see that we've got kind of a bolt area here. So I can grab this piece, go to face, and I'm just going to select these 2 faces right here, shift right click, go to extrude, hit W, just pull those out a little bit, and then hit R, just a little bit more. Okay, that's that shape. And last but not least, I'm going to do this. Okay, so how this works is it looks like, there's a piece that shoots out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control D for duplicate, and then I'm going to solo that, right click and go to face, select all these faces and delete them. Alright, so I'm going to break this up into 3 pieces and then I'll combine it in a second. One piece is going to be the outer clasp, one piece is the inner ring, and then one piece is this offshoot here. So I'm going to do Control D for duplicate one more time, solo that, and just like we did the other piece, let's come here and grab those two, shift right click, extrude face, extrude it out, R, and we'll put that back in. Okay, now I'm going to hit shift greater than sign and then Control Shift I. So I just have, and then delete. So I'm just left with this one piece right here. Now let me grab the next one that we duplicated, and let me grab all of these. Kind of goes all the way around. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go shift right click and extrude face, and I'm going to pull it out along the normal like that, and then just like the other one, shift right click, shift greater than, and then Control Shift I to select the inverse and then delete. Now I'm going to double click, select it all, hit R, and I'm going to scale it a little bit here in the Y axis, and then I'm going to grab this edge and I'm going to hit W. Now I'm going to hold W and left mouse button click, and I'm going to go to Axis, Custom, Set to Edge, and I'm going to select this edge, and that sets my cursor to that edge, and I'm going to pull this in, and then same thing, so I'm going to hit G and I'm going to select that edge, and then I'm going to pull this out, and just to kind of give it variance of shape. And then I'm going to select both of these edges and shift right click, bevel edge, and take the fraction to 0.1, it's too little, 0.2, sure, and then we'll give 2 segments. I'm going to select this edge and I'm going to go shift right click and bevel edge, and let's give it 1, 2, put a fraction of 1, and then this one, shift right click, bevel edge, and give 3 segments. Okay, it's not the most beautiful, but it'll work. And I can just kind of add in some add in some extra geometry here, and then merge those vertices. And then I can always set things to normal, kind of pull it back. And just to keep clean geometry, I'm gonna add in these here. Okay. So now we have that clasp, and I'm just going to select the clasp, and I'm going to go to Modify Center Pivot. In order, I need to go to hold down W and left mouse button click and go to World. There you go. And I'm just going to pull it out just a touch and hit R, and I'm going to scale it just like that. And then last but not least, I'm going to select this edge, shift right click and go to extrude, and I'm going to extrude it out so that it enters into that piece right there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and select both of these edges and go to bridge. I'm just going to bridge all these down. I'm going to just double click in here and select the entire edge ring, and then go right click and go fill hole, and then go to face and then go shift right click and triangulate. There's a lot of stuff in there I just don't want to deal with, honestly. Same with this one, face, shift right click, triangulate. Okay. Now that we have all of that, let's do these handlebars, and then we are pretty well done with this model. It's just some fine tuning. So let's hit 6 to go into our shaded view in order to see our scooter, and then shift right click and poly cylinder. Take those subdivisions to 16, hit E and rotate it in the Z axis 90 degrees, W to move it and move it up. Since we've done so much work, real quick, save scene as. You can do incremental saves, but Maya's incremental save is a little bit sketchy sometimes. So I like to just save new files, completely new files. And that means that if the file I'm working on gets corrupted, it's not based on the previous file. Okay, and 6. Okay. So, let's go to the front view. Actually, that's not too shabby. Let's right click and hit go, I'm sorry, shift right click and go to insert edge loop, add one, and delete. Now that I've got this side, I'm going to select the faces, and I'm going to hit F to focus in on those faces. And I'm going to go shift right click and extrude face, and then the offset, I'm going to offset it by 0.1 is fine, and then G to extrude again, and I'm going to pull it out along its normal a little ways, G, and then I'm going to offset in the opposite direction of negative 0.1, and then G and pull it out, G. I'm just going to keep extruding, G. I'm going to go into, I'm going to say 0.2, and I'm going to pull it out. G, and then I'm just going to pull this one all the way across. G, that one is -0.2, and you got to pull it a little bit. G, and G will go, oh sorry, 0.2. And then that's a little bit off there, so I'm going to just hit Shift greater than sign to grab all those and just pull them out. Okay, now I'm going to Shift right click and go to Insert Edge Loop, and I'm just going to insert one there. I'm going to grab it and hit R and make it larger. And then I'm going to Shift right click and go to Bevel Edge, add 3 segments, make the fraction 0.75, and then I'm just going to grab all of these edges and bevel edge. Okay. Last but not least, I'm going to select all of these. Let's just drag select. Okay, and go to extrude and hit the offset. Let's do that as 0.05, and then G again. And make another offset of 0.05. And then I can grab this right here and hit G, and I can just push it in a little bit. And then add bevels to all of these, just to take the hard edge off. Okay, last but not least, let's go File, Edit, Delete by Type History, Modify, Freeze Transformations, Control D, and duplicate in -1. And there you go. May not be 100% perfect, but it's not too shabby. So I'm going to select all the pieces for this part and Shift right click and go to Combine. And then I just have to hold D and V, and again put this at the bottom. Kind of realign that. Hit E and rotate it -15 degrees back. And then while I have it here, I'm just going to extrude this down into our object. I think that all works. Let's keep extruding it a little bit, and then grab these top vertices and pull them down so that that's not intersecting. Okay, one last thing. Grab this and go to Vertex. First, grab this, go to Face, and select all those faces and just delete them. Double click all this and Shift right click and extract faces. And let's just pull that bolt into where it needs to go. And then duplicate it and mirror it. Okay. Okay. Now that we have all this, I'm going to select the entire thing and go Edit, Delete by Type, History, and modify Freeze Transformations. And now, last but not least, since putting, let's see, how do we want to do this? We could do a texture, but a texture would require a lot more time and work, and you guys have already been so patient. So let's go ahead and let's just add a little circle here. So shift right click and let's do a polycylinder, and then right click and go to face and delete all of these faces, so we're just left with this, and then modify center pivot, bring that down, hit F for focus, bring it down so it's just above, and then hit R. Okay. So because of the nature of this model, I am just going to do a real quick job. I'm just going to come here to UV and I'm just going to go automatic just to give it some UVs. Sometimes that can cause problems in different programs. And then I'm going to come here to face and I'm going to select these edge rings and then shift greater than sign until I feel like I've selected everything I need to select. Okay, I haven't selected these. So I'm selecting all that and all of this. Okay, and then I need to make sure that Arnold is on. It is. Right click, go to Assign New Material and AI Standard Surface, and I'm just going to call this blue, and that's going to be my shader for everything blue. And I'm going to take that color, actually I'm going to go to Presets, and where's something, ooh, let's go to Rubber, Replace, and then I'm just going to make that a blue. Maybe take this, the vibrance down and the saturation a little bit, kind of make that a blue rubber. Okay, and then I can do the same with the wheels. Now that I already have that set up, I can just select them, right click, and go to Existing Material, Blue, and double click, go to Existing Material and Blue. Now let's do the chrome. So I'm going to double click on all of this stuff, F for focus, and right click and go to Assign New Material, Arnold, AI Standard Surface, Presets, and Chrome, and then I'm just going to call this Chrome. Apparently I can't spell. And I'm going to select all of this stuff. Right click and go to Chrome, and then I can select both of these, shift greater than until I grab all that, and then go to Existing Materials and Chrome. So anything that's black, is going to be my chrome. And I can select all of these as well. Right click, existing chrome. And last but not least, back here, right click, existing chrome. But I'm realizing that actually these wheel wells are a plastic, so we can right click, go to assign new material, AI standard surface, presets, matte, we'll do plastic, because I don't think there's a matte plastic. Yeah, plastic. And we'll make that a gray. And then the roughness, we'll take the roughness up on the specular. And we'll call that plastic underscore gray. Because this last piece right here, we go to new materials, Arnold, AI standard surface, and this is going to be plastic underscore black. Presets, plastic, replace, and make that a really dark, very, very dark gray, not 100%, and then pull the roughness up. Okay. I can go to material attributes. Why is that blue? Edit, delete by type, history, modify, freeze transformations, plastic underscore black. I don't know why that one's blue. One thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, just pull it so it's just above. Okay? There we go. We have a nice looking little scooter. Now I'm just going to grab this and this and this. And I'm going to go this as well. No, not that. I'm just going to grab these pieces right here and go shift right click and bevel. And what that's going to do is now if I hit 3 and I smooth this, it's just going to keep it from falling apart. You can see we have everything that's nice and smooth. So, let me do a quick render. I realize that that's it. That's our show today. I realize that when I do renders while I'm recording, my computer slows down to nothing. So let me do a quick render, and I will put it here at the end of the video and let you guys see what we created. Thank you guys so much. Sorry, this took a little longer than I had hoped. Altogether is about an hour, which I would say is pretty standard. So anyway, I thank you guys so much for watching. Give me some love in the form of likes or subscribes or comments, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye.